My name is Barbara McBride Williamson. My work history is 30 years at Wall Street Journal as an IT specialist. I am third in line of 10 children. I have an identical twin who beat me by 15 minutes. Otherwise, I would have had second place. My father was in the military, so we traveled from base to base until we finally ended up in Boston, Mass, where we lived in the South End. The person who I'm caring for is my identical twin sister, Brenda. I've been caring for her since the age of 21. I believe it all stemmed from a car accident, not to her doing, but it was a high-speed chase that went very sour in Boston. She was on her way to work where a car clipped the curb trying to outrun the police, and the pole landed on top of her. The car crushing her. So um, that could be why it shows the signs of what she's going through. We were thick as thieves going through school. Being identical twins, we had ID tags on our hands, but wrists, I should say. And she used to switch them around and get me in trouble because she was some more, likes to get in trouble, and I was more quiet, but I went along with it. And everyone in the family always looked up to my sister because she was always the leader of the crowd. Yeah. So it was, I still very close. We can feel the same pain at times when things are happening to each other, even to this day. And I live in Chicopee, Mass. She's in Braintree. When I go see her, we have the same color clothes on without even talking to her. Well, it took a toll on my health because I kept thinking I was failing Papa when he said to take care of her. I didn't know what she was going through. I kept thinking maybe because my mama died and grandma died and then Papa died. That really took a toll on her. So I kept saying, well, we can all get through this together. But somehow she was very good at times, and then times things triggered, and I didn't know why. And I just kept feeding into it, not knowing what I was feeding into. Until one day I happened to, I go to St. Michael's Cathedral Church, and Mrs. Z. Johnson came there to give a talk. Bells went off when she said, dementia. And she came back to do a wonderful presentation, which I was then able to obtain information, which I had been searching for years, but always got the wrong websites that brought in other bad websites. She has two sides of personalities. One is the side that loves me. The other side is the one that's a terror. Um, One side of the brain is very, very smart. She can tell you this and that. She will know how much medication she takes. And then on the other side, it's the one that can't keep track of her medication. She doesn't take her medications. Very aggressive towards me. When I try to help her, I will get services into her apartment because I tried my best to keep her in an apartment so she can have the freedom. But little did I know she didn't keep the services in there. And then she'll always wind up in the hospital for protection for herself, either suicidal or, very sick but not taking the medication. She's in Royal Braintree Rehab in Braintree, Massachusetts, which for me, round trip and no traffic is 4 hours. If it's an accident on the Mass Pike or 495, it could turn out to be 5 to 6 hours. January through March, I don't go through the winter months, but after that, every month I go see her, and I spend 2 to 3 hours. I either bring her favorite meals, bring word search. She loves word search and coloring books. And I did bring a little kitty, just looked like her cat, Lucky, that she had to put away. And she loves it because it crawls on the floor, meows and everything like that. Me, I was allergic to cats, so I was happy to see the toy cat. Yes, keep thinking me being the twin, would that happen to me? I keep saying, oh Lord, not now, because my sister needs me. Um, I just pray every day that, if it does happen, at least I can tell my son that I have the signs and what I need to do and help him because I didn't have anywhere to turn to. At least if I start to show signs, I can tell him what to look out for and where to go for resources. By going out into the communities and giving the presentations. Um, I found out about this one at Western New England University. It was in a newspaper, Point of View, that I found out a way to attend that. And let me tell you, that opened up a whole new world, so much resources out there. I was very happy to learn that they are coming into the community and are providing the resources that I need that will help me. Because since I've started attending those, my health has improved so much now. I'm not overly stressed, keep blaming myself for not doing what I should do or doing too much and failing at what I'm doing. And I have a clear understanding now of what dementia is and when you're first diagnosed, what the progression would be like later on in life. I would say that don't be afraid to reach out. Don't keep it bottled up inside you, because there are resources out there. And just like the bells went off in my head when Z came to give that speech, just be patient and don't blame yourself.
My name is Alina Sibley. I worked for a nurse for a very long time, and then when I got my nurse practitioner, I've been working with older adults in different companies that basically provide care to older adults. I'm one of three kids. I'm the youngest, and my parents lived or moved to Central America, Guatemala, to become agricultural missionaries. So I grew up in Guatemala, came back to the States for a couple years, and then back to Costa Rica again with their job. And then when I was probably about 18, I moved for good to the States. And yeah, I've been living here ever since, just doing volunteer work and obviously working and trying to get my degree. And I work as a nurse practitioner now. Mainly my mother. My father was diagnosed with dementia later in life. He was pretty high functioning. But my mother was diagnosed with initially Alzheimer's dementia, but later on we realized probably she had a kind of a mixed picture. She'd had a stroke, at some point. And she was diagnosed about in 2015. She was actually late 80s. So we've been helping her ever since. My father has since passed. He was her main care partner, and then I would help him as much as possible. So I've been caring for her probably since 2015, and it's progressed, and now we're needing to bring in a lot of supports in the home because she lives in an independent facility, but she needs 24/7 care. So little by little, it's sort of ramped up it was really my dad mainly, which took a big toll on him, but they lived locally and I was the person, locally, so I would help my father out as much as possible. Yeah, so that's always really tough. I'm the sole breadwinner for my family. I do have older kids now because I can't imagine what it would be like if I had little kids running around, but I could leave them in a minute and be like, I gotta go see Grammy, and go and be there. But it's been a lot. It's a lot. You kind of give up certain things with your family because you kind of have to be over there, and I just have to constantly be vigilant. I'm the only one she really recognizes still a little bit. And now that since my father's not there anymore, it's been really tough. So yeah, it's been a lot. So every week I go in and pre-fill her medications. I make sure that her still living cat, because she loves animals, her dog passed away unfortunately, but her cat, I want to make sure, that the cat's okay. Change her water, all that kind of stuff. And just making sure I'm a support person for the caregivers that are in there, the aides that are in there, because it's a constant communication about what works, what doesn't work. Just the other day she walked down the hallway, she walked into someone's apartment, sat down, and refused to leave. So I had to FaceTime her and try to convince her, because I couldn't be there physically, to kind of get out and get back home, because she was very confused. So it's just every day's different. There's so many things that could be done. I know it's really tough because it's trying to get the word out there about what is dementia and where the resources are, because there are resources. I wish that we could also make sure that we could put pressure on the folks that are in government to say, we need support, families need support, because they're trying to work, they're trying to take care of their loved one. We don't want them in nursing homes, we want them at home. And so how do we do this as a community? And with support from agencies and government and that sort of thing. It's really getting to know dementia, if people have access to the computer, not everybody does, but if they do, looking up Alzheimer's. Not all dementias are Alzheimer's, but they have a lot of information there on dementia in general, what the warning signs are of dementia, and just also resources and what you can do for safety in the home and that sort of thing. And it's us, we have a privilege. I'm privileged to work in an organization where we actually can do a lot of education, and we're going to keep doing that as much as we can. So I think anytime people see anything at senior centers, anything at day programs, anything in the community, to really try to attend some of those things. If they see flyers about something about dementia, try to participate in some of those as hard as that can be. And making sure they're talking to their provider too. Sometimes primary care doesn't always know how to navigate, but to really push that is going to be really important, because they may have people in the clinics that can help point people to the right direction. What I've learned in caring for my mother is really enjoy where she's at now, because I'm not getting her back the way she was. But I have moments of pure joy with her, like laughing about things that I'm like, this isn't funny, but it's funny because she's laughing. And so that's beautiful. And being able to walk in and see her joy, her face light up because she recognizes me that day, is beautiful. So take those moments and really hold on to them.
My name is Tammy Hall. I am a healthcare worker. I've been a healthcare worker for over 30 years now. I've literally worked in dementia, Alzheimer's wards, emergency room, spending a lot of time just taking care of those that needed the care, which is a most important thing to my heart, to be able to help someone else and give that time that they need. Just spending a lot of time with them, just listening to them. There's some that can't even voice their opinion, but needed someone to just really sit with them, be a support system with them. Make sure that they're comfortable and that they know there's always someone there. Just to see the different stages from different nationalities, the different languages, was a very, very hard experience, because a lot of them couldn't even voice it because they didn't have someone there to say, let me translate this for you, really writing stuff down until they couldn't write anything anymore. My mom started like 6 months. My mom passed last year, and 6 months before she passed, no one recognized dementia but myself. But my mom loved to keep going, and so we traveled a lot with her. She loved to go to Vermont, but I can tell the difference because she wouldn't recognize too many people, but that feistiness sat there with her. And so she would look forward to going to Vermont to see my brother. And my brother, her great-grandson named the baby after her, and she's like, it's my namesake. And even though she was withering away at that time, it was the last trip that we took to Vermont, which was hard because we always went to Vermont or to Connecticut because she loved her chewing tobacco. So when you grow up in Georgia, you love to have that. And she said, she always tell you, I don't have dementia. I can remember everything, but I watched her forget a lot because someone mentioned puzzles, and it was one of her favorites. She would always do her crossword puzzles. We'd get enough for the year. We'd get to the dollar store and get a stack of them. And I kept telling everybody, like, she has dementia. She would scribble. She would scribble to the end. And the one wish I granted is that she wanted to be home, be there, but she didn't recognize. And we had to put bed alarms. She would fall out of the bed, climb out, tell me, I'm not supposed to be here. So it was very difficult. And so we had her in with my sister because she had a lot of space. And then, there she was 24 hours care. So it was really a lot. She fell a lot. She just fell a lot. and kept hitting her head, hitting her head. She spent a lot of time, some last 6 months, at the ER, but refused to stay. She wasn't officially diagnosed. She'll tell you in a minute, I don't have dementia. I got my wits to me. So they didn't know. And even though some of them are PCAs already, it took a while for them to understand. It's terrible. Missing the Vermont trips, missing the Connecticut trips to get her chewing tobacco. We would go grocery shopping all the time. She didn't like to go with anyone because I was the patient daughter. And so we did everything together. She used to do her own nails. And I was always tell her, Mom, you're going to scratch somebody's eyes out. But she refused to go to the nail salon. But I will tell you that the last 2 months of her life, she loved going to the nail salon. And she'd have one hand red and one hand green. She would mix it up, and so she would look forward to getting her nails done. Oh yeah, making sure she went out to her favorite place, no matter if she would be able to eat in and out. I said, Mom, you want to go out? Yes, 99 restaurant was her absolute favorite. So as much as I can take her out there, I would take her, and just take her for drives, because she didn't like to sit in the house. Because my mom used to get on the bus herself, and she'd be gone at 7 o'clock in the morning downtown. If you remember Steiger's down there, Kmart, she'd already be shopping, and then we'd be looking for her. She'd be like, well, I was shopping. So, and I just really miss all of that. Training, lots of training, because each and every person is different, right? That, like I said, it's the language, the way they speak, the way they carry themselves. And right now, I work for the healthcare union, and we offer trainings on dementia, on Alzheimer's. And I hear from my PCA brothers and sisters all the time, like, how do we manage? Training is important, but each and every person needs a support system, right? And you want to make sure that people are comfortable in what they do. You have to have a good heart and love what you do, and just love being with people and help and take care of them. Hold on, be strong, and no matter how dementia affects, we got to remember that there was a time they did everything, so hold on to that. If it's still something they want to do, let them do it until they can't do it anymore, because that makes them feel good each and every day, because they look forward to something, and that's what I will leave you with.
I'm Ronnie Phillips. I worked at Bay State Medical Center for 32 years in the security department.
And my name is Glennis Hargrove Phillips. I worked for the state of Massachusetts for 25 years. I just recently retired, and I am an Air Force veteran. When I got married after I got out of the military, I moved to Springfield. I have one daughter and one brother. I'm
one of 6, 3 boys, 3 girls. I'm the youngest boy. I have 2 sisters that passed away 3 years ago, and I was my mom's primary caregiver.
It was my mother-in-law. I have been with my husband we've been married going on 24 years, but we dated for 4 years. So I've known her for about 27, 28 years, and wonderful woman.
Very beautiful lady, very caring. I remember as a youngster, she always was like 6 of us, so she was the one. Great cook. She loved friends and family, especially the younger ones, grandkids. She always gave them grandkids nicknames. So yeah, she was amazing. I would say, because my mom lived alone, some subtle things at first, like we would do her laundry for her, and she would we would put the laundry away and where they belong. She would constantly, she would get up in the middle of the night, take all the clothes out of the drawers and pile them up on the bed, and it was like, something's going on here. Yes, because she was very, very tidy. Everything was tidy, everything was in its place. So for her to be doing that and to have that mess around her, that wasn't her personality at all.
The thing that I remember the most is that she loved music. It seemed like she always loved music even before, but after, when you put on music, she knew the words and she could dance so incredibly. I did miss her cooking because when it got to a certain point with the dementia, you know, she wasn't cooking anymore. And that's the thing that I loved, was the food. So I missed that the most.
For me, it was difficult at times watching her like kind of go downhill, because when we discovered the dementia, she just really slowed down from the things she normally would do, like the cooking. She didn't cook anymore. There was one time when I would ask her, "Do you still know my phone number?" And she said, "No, I don't know your number anymore." And it was like other siblings' number that she used to have memorized, and she no longer knew their numbers, you know. She could just pick up the phone once upon a time and say, "Oh, let me call Ronnie, let me call Ethel, let me call Rosemary." And no longer was she able to remember those phone numbers, and that was something that kind of stood out.
I think that it was very difficult because I had been in the family and I had been watching her be so independent, living on her own for so many years. And now we had to go, my daughter and I would help her get dressed or pick out clothing, and I thought that was very difficult because that's something she enjoyed. She liked dressing herself, and I think it was difficult. And just watching him, because a lot of the caregiving he did and I was at home. So just when he would come back, he would just be emotionally and mentally drained. And just watching him, watch her go downhill, it was very difficult for the household.
For me, like I said, she mentioned it was draining, emotionally draining, to watch someone who cared for you for so many years and they not that same person anymore. But I also say that I did have a lot of support from my sisters and my nieces, nephews. Everyone had a role. Everyone stepped up, from the smallest to the biggest. One of my nieces had a newborn, and when he started walking, we would always make sure that she was like around friends, family, and especially the grandkids, because she loved kids. She loved them. So when they were around, she was more of herself, and she seen the kids come around. But there was one time she started, sleeping more, but we still would always have the kids around her, make sure she knew that, Mom, we love you, Mom.
I want to back that up. They really had a real good support team. Everybody did step in. They had different days of the week. People had their specialties that they were good at. Somebody might have been good at doing the shower. Somebody else was good at cleaning. Somebody else was good at maybe doing her hair. So he really had a real strong family team, and that was important, me just watching that.
She was in her late stage when she had the dementia, so she started becoming very frail. I'm not sure if there's something called nutritional dementia, because her body started just she was smaller and smaller and smaller. No matter what we gave her to eat, she just never gained any weight from it. And it was just coming to the point that she was like, it was a matter of time. So it was difficult then to watch her dwindle like that. But we would still feed her. Like, her favorite breakfast was oatmeal. I used to give her oatmeal and put some protein in it and applesauce. She really loved that. And there was times when she ate very well and times when she didn't want to eat at all. So it was just all part of the disease. So, yes.
But it was probably 8 months, maybe?
Yeah.
About 8 months of care before she passed.
She was never officially diagnosed with it, but her symptoms that she was displaying said this is dementia.
Education. Education is power and knowledge. And the thing, when you watch TV, you see a lot of commercials about smoking and what smoking can do to you, what smoking can do to your body. Dementia does a lot to people's bodies. It does a lot to people's families. We need more commercials like that with the government promoting dementia, Alzheimer's. This is the signs, some of the signs that you can look for, places that you could go, because I think that's the biggest problem. Where can you go to get the help and get questions answered? Your primary care, I believe, is a good starting point. They can lead you in the right direction, but I think that in the community of Springfield is probably a lot of other options that we just are not aware of. So just getting people to be aware of where you can go to get more information would be the best starting point.
For most of all, I would say, make sure you have a good support system. You have to lean on your friends and family really hard during those times. And whenever possible, the person that's going over to care for the person with dementia, you have to make sure you take care of yourself first. You have to take a break, whatever it is. Go to the casino, go to the mall, whatever. Give yourself some time to bounce back before that person that you're caring for, because they need you 100%.